Hello YouTube, my name is Jack, welcome back to Barnyard Wargaming. Today we're going to discuss some rumors and leaked rules on Reddit. I'm sorry for the lack of videos, it's been a while and we've been in lockdown here in Sydney, Australia, but I'm back, ready to discuss some new Craftworlds rules, so let's have a chat. Alrighty, so before we discuss any of the rules today, I want to just go over a few things. Yes, as I mentioned, we've been in lockdown here in Sydney, Australia. We are approaching the end, we hope, of this lockdown, so we are going to be posting more and more content that is coming out very, very soon. Hopefully a lot. We have a lot of things that have been planned for months now, and we just haven't been able to do them. It's very sad, but we will be back to making our regular videos very, very shortly. And of course, the other thing that I want to mention is that today's little discussion will be a lot of my opinion as well. You guys seem to like the last video that I did. You can check it out up there on the rules for Eldar in 9th edition and what I thought they would be and what I wanted them to be. But today we're going to be looking at a few rumors that came out on Reddit. Whether these are going to actually be true or not, we do not know yet. So there are 4 different little topics that we are going to discuss, and they are going to be new rules for overall traits, new rules for weapons, new rules for specific units, and also some mention of new units entirely. The first of these, of course, is the new rules, and there is, of course, a change to battle focus. Now, battle focus at the moment allows us to advance and still shoot our weapons completely normally unless it's a heavy weapon. This is apparently being changed to move, shoot, move for an additional D6. So you can essentially advance and still shoot normally. It's basically the same thing, but allows you to then move after you have shot. I don't really see why this is entirely necessary. I think the battle focus is fine the way it is, and if anything, I was expecting battle focus to change to something that was more of a game mechanic, like the dynastic codes thing from Necrons, the little 6 things that you can choose before the game, or canticles of the Omnissiah, or doctrines, or something like that. Every army seems to be getting one, so why would Eldar not get one? Battle focus is probably the best way that they could do that. Otherwise, they should bring about one in the rules of fleet of foot, as it used to be in the older codexes. I think that they could do a lot with that, potentially some kind of new rules, who knows. If this change to battle focus actually goes ahead, I'm not too keen on it, but we'll see. And apparently, Craftworlds will now be featuring Harlequins, Ynnari, and Corsairs units. I feel as though this is extremely unlikely. I cannot see them doing this at all. After all, Harlequins have their own codex. Why would they be put into another book unless they are being discontinued? Which, in this case, if that happens, I think that Games Workshop is going to have a lot more people angry with them, even more than they already do, which is a crazy amount of people. And as for the Corsairs being in there, they have been squatted and made into legends. As a absolutely, like, an insane lover of Corsairs, I've even made my own Corsairs codex from scratch, an entire book. I don't see why they would put them into the Craftworld book. They should really just have their own index like Ynnari, and Ynnari as well, if they get basically squatted almost and put into the Craftworld's codex and just made into like a Disciples of Be'lakor type of situation, where your Brain and the Vizark and the Yunkan are just part of the Craftworld book, and you can just run them and make a Ynnari army. I'd be a little bit disappointed, especially for Dark Elder players and Harlequin players who love playing with them. So let's move on to these weapon changes. There's quite a few weapon changes in here. Most of them we could guess pretty much straight off the bat. We know that Shuriken's going to become damage 2 from Splinter Cannons becoming damage 2. We know that Bright Lances, which are not even mentioned here, are going to be D3+3 because Dark Lances are. They're also going to receive a 5-point decrease because Dark Lances are also 15 points and not 20. We know this for certain. I would not be surprised if D Cannons also go down in price, but as for the rules changes mentioned here, scatter lasers are going to be getting more shots, shuriken weapons are going to be reducing in the amount of AP that they do on a wound roll of a 6, but increasing in the base amount of AP, which is more consistent. That makes a lot more sense to me, especially seeing as pretty much 99% of weapons in Eldar are AP nothing or AP -3 or 4. There is very little that is AP -1, such as or 2, such as Reaper launchers, Tempest Tempest launchers or the Prism rifles on Shadow Spectres. Everything else is essentially 0 or even -3 or 4. There is a new mention of a Shuriken rifle that is potentially coming out, maybe with some new units, which I'll mention in a second. I think this is the most unlikely thing out of everything on here, because there are no rapid fire weapons in Eldar at all. I would be very surprised if this is the first one that they are bringing out, and a little bit disappointed, to be honest, because I think that Eldar are quite unique in the sense that they don't have rapid fire weapons. I kind of like that. As for you guys, I do not know. Maybe you will enjoy that, or maybe you won't. Overall, I think Eldar just need more shots to deal with the tougher enemies in 9th edition. They kind of lack in the amount of shots that they can put out. Most things have a lot of shots, like las blasters on swooping hawks, just do not have the firepower to penetrate the armor that is in 9th edition at the moment. So most things are probably going to get buffed anyway. It looks like Banshees are going to be getting more damage, more AP, more strength, and they're just going to be even stronger than they were already, which, to be honest, for like 13 points or however many points they are, I don't think that they're too bad with things like Expert Craft and Hunters of Ancient Relics, but it looks like they're going to be getting even more buffs to fight off the Marines and the Death Guard and things like that they are going up against. I would not be surprised if Dire Avengers as well are going to get a new stratagem that allows them to do mortal wounds on wound rolls of 6s as well, same as the Dominions in the Sisters of Battle Codex. I would not be surprised if they would call it like Bladestorm or something like that. Very, very likely. And one more change is to the D sides that are going to be on the Wraithguard. I think that these should ultimately have been range 12 from the beginning, since they made all the Flamers range 12. I don't know why they didn't change them in the first place. That was very silly. It does here say that they are going to be expensive and daft. I have no idea what that means, as is written there, but in my opinion, they should either be D3 damage, D3 shots and each, and then they should be flat 2 or flat 3 damage even at range 12. If not, they should be D6 shots that are strength 10 -4, 1 damage. They should have had a huge buff ages ago. They have been one of the weakest choices in the book and highly overcosted compared to the D cannons, and they've needed a massive buff for a long time. Now, as for the unit changes, there are not a whole lot of unit changes that are mentioned here. It only mentions Scorpions and Hawks are going to be great in the new codex. I have no idea what they will be doing to them. We will just have to wait and find out. I kind of like Scorpions in the way that they are now, so if they change them too much, I'll be a little bit disappointed. It looks like Banshees are going to be getting a ton more buffs as well. I don't know why Banshees in particular will be getting a whole lot of buffs, but I'm not complaining. I love Banshees, so if they become a great unit like the Incubi and the Dark Elder Codex, not complaining at all. I think that pretty much all of the units in the Codex are going to receive some kind of buff. I think that most of them are quite weak when you compare them to the 9th edition equivalents of all of the other units in the game right now. In particular, I think that the Phoenix Lords need to be twice as strong. I do mean twice, literally twice as strong for their points cost as they are now. As I mentioned in the previous video, if they do not get at least half the price of what they are now, or double the strength, or at least somewhere in the middle, I will be extremely disappointed. I think that they need to be probably better than Chapter Masters, equivalent to like 200 points or something, like a real powerhouse of a unit, such as Drazhar, who was only 125 points. He was an auto-include. He could pretty much mince any single unit that he came into contact with. That should be essentially most of the Phoenix Lords. And lastly, we are discussing some new units. It does mention some jet bike ranges, which at first I thought I don't really need these. I'm not too keen on them. We don't really need some new units, and they're just trying to drive hype and get us to buy more units, which they are. But I would be okay with the idea of jet bike rangers, especially seeing here as it says that there would be 2 rangers on 1 jet bike, in the same way that the Harlequin Skyweavers are, and I would be okay with this. It sounds pretty cool to me. It does also say new scout models. Maybe these would be Pathfinders. In the original books, Rangers could be upgraded to be Pathfinders, which were like a better version of a Ranger. I would not be surprised if they brought those out and maybe renamed them, seeing as Tau also have a unit called Pathfinders. It does also say new Guardians, both Defenders and Storm Guardians, which I assume is just a new kit for both of those, and I assume that they're going to be same as the new Pathfinder kit and the new Guardsman kit, where essentially they are just going to be a slight refurbishing of the kit and a doubling of the price, which no one in the community wanted. I think that they could have spent their time better upgrading the Phoenix Lords models and just releasing a whole box of all 6 of them as one. I would have preferred that. I do not want any new Guardian models, and I don't think that they will sell very many of them, so that is poor on your side, Games Workshop. Rangers going to plastic. I think that you're about a decade too late. Everything else needed to be plastic many years ago, and it's honestly embarrassing that they are not already plastic. To be honest, me personally, as I mentioned in the last video, I really do not want any new units at all. I don't want any new units, and I don't want any new models. I think that all of our models are perfectly fine, aside from the Phoenix Lords, who really need a new model and new rules, and they need to, honestly, if Games Workshop is listening, just release a box of them, or all 6 of them, as one box that you can get for cheaper, maybe like 60% of the original cost of all of them combined, and release them all in plastic and just refurbish all of them. Do not touch anything else. Trust me, none of the elder players want anything else. In fact, you need to just get rid of the avatar model altogether and make the Forge World one, the Games Workshop one, official, and just make that into plastic, and everything else would be fine the way it is. Otherwise, that is all of the new rules and things like that have been rumored on Reddit. As usual, tell me what you think in the comments down below if you agree with the statements that I've made and what the statements the person here on Reddit has made. Like or dislike the video if you liked it, or if you disliked what I had to say. Either way, it's fine for me, so please do that down below. As always, you can join us on our Discord down below as well. It is entirely free, so please join that and have some discussions in our Discord about these new Craftworlds rules. Tell me what you think. You can get into direct contact with me down there. And otherwise, look out for some brand new videos that will be coming out very shortly as soon as we escape this lockdown. And my name has been Jack. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.